Search is everywhere. The question is, are you showing up? This is Search as a Channel.
Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're really looking at a massive, almost completely silent paradigm shift happening right now in the digital marketing world.
Yeah, it's happening quietly, but the impact is just huge.
Exactly. And so for the agency owners and the business decision makers listening, we are going to look at how brand identity has fundamentally transformed into search infrastructure.
Right, which is a big leap from how we usually think about branding.
Definitely. So to do this, we're pulling from a few distinct sources today. We've got Google's official product announcements regarding their new search profiles, some breaking news on Google Analytics integrations, and some really sharp strategic analysis from industry experts.
Yeah, and those experts are calling this the death of aesthetic branding in the AI search era, which is quite a phrase.
It really is. So our mission today is to decode how AI search is completely changing the rules of the game. We are moving from a world of ranking pages to a world of validating entities.
Right, the entity's everything now.
Exactly. And we're going to map out exactly what leadership teams need to do to adapt their service models and strategies. Okay, so let's unpack this.
Let's do.
I want you to imagine walking down a high street. You look over and see this gorgeous window display for a retail store.
Oh, like really high-end, beautiful lighting.
Yes, exactly. The lighting is absolutely perfect. The mannequins are styled flawlessly. The colors are inviting. You're immediately drawn in. It's, an aesthetic triumph.
Right, and it's designed to evoke an emotional response from you.
Yeah.
The entire purpose of that display is just to pull you right through the front door so you can experience the rest of the brand.
Totally. But then imagine your most important new customer walks up to that exact same window. Only this customer doesn't have eyes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they don't care about the lighting. They don't care about the music playing inside. And they definitely do not care about the vibes. They are a building inspector.
I love this analogy. So they just want the structural facts.
Exactly. They only want to see the architectural blueprints. And if those blueprints are messy, if the wiring is crossed or the foundation is cracked, they just walk away. They won't even step inside.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter how much budget went into that window display. If the building itself doesn't mathematically make sense to the inspector, well, the store essentially doesn't exist to them.
Right. And that is exactly what is happening to digital marketing right now. But before we can really understand the philosophical why behind this shift in search, we need to ground ourselves in the tangible what.
Yeah, we have to look at the recent feature updates Google has actually rolled out, because these are really the canaries in the coal mine.
For sure. So first up is Google's launch of search profiles. This is initially rolling out in the US, right?
Yeah, starting in the US, it's essentially a dedicated shareable space for creators, publishers, and brands to highlight their articles, videos, and social posts all across various platforms.
Okay, so it's a native hub right on Google's own real estate.
Exactly. And users can access it via the Knowledge panel. That information box you often see on the right side of desktop, search results for notable people and brands.
Oh, right. The knowledge panel.
Yeah. And you can also find it through Google Discover or even via a direct URL. And there is one really crucial detail here. It includes a follow button.
Wait, a follow button directly on Google?
Yep, directly in the search experience.
Wow. Okay, and simultaneously, over in the analytics department, Google Analytics is natively adding Google Business Profile data.
Which is a huge deal for local SEO.
Yeah, because metrics that used to live in entirely separate silos, things like local calls, direction requests, profile interactions, and bookings, are now going to appear directly in your GA4 report.
Right, but there is a crucial caveat here for the agencies out there managing multiple clients.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
This GA4 integration actually combines data across all profiles if a brand has multiple locations. This doesn't allow you to segment by individual locations just yet.
Which is super frustrating. And it only holds 6 months of data, right?
Yeah, just 6 months. So for a single location business, having all that local action data in one GA4 dashboard is, a nice convenience.
Sure.
But for multi-location brands or the agencies managing them, you really can't rely on this yet. You're still going to need the business profile dashboard.
Or you'll have to pull the data programmatically using the Performance API, which is basically just a developer tool that lets your software talk directly to Google software to extract that granular location-level detail.
Exactly. It's a bit more technical right now for the big players.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me, though. I look at these updates and I have to ask, why go through all the trouble of integrating local data into GA4 if they're just going to wipe the history after a couple of quarters?
A great question.
Right. Like, are these just shiny new dashboard widgets to keep marketers busy? Or is Google perhaps using these profiles to quietly force brands to clean up their own disorganized data?
Well, what's fascinating here is that it is absolutely the latter.
You think so?
Oh, 100%. This is not a cosmetic release.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not just Google giving marketers a fun new place to upload a logo.
Right.
Google is giving selected brands a native identity layer inside the search experience itself. They are consolidating scattered local actions, the calls, the directions, and your content outputs into a single observable hub.
Okay, so they don't need 10 years of data for this. They just need a real-time pulse.
Precisely. Because they're trying to feed the knowledge graph.
The knowledge graph.
Yep.
We hear that thrown around at every marketing conference.
We really do.
But for the agency owners listening who might not be, deep into the engineering side, let's break that down. My understanding is that the knowledge graph is essentially Google's massive database of facts.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Like where they connect entities, people, places, concepts like a giant web of nouns rather than just matching keywords on a page.
That's a perfect way to look at it.
Yeah.
Historically, search engines looked at strings of letters. Like if you typed Apple, it just looked for pages that had the letters APPLE a lot of times.
Right, keyword density.
Exactly. But the knowledge graph looks at things, not strings. It knows that Apple is a multinational technology company founded by Steve Jobs, currently run by Tim Cook, headquartered in Cupertino.
So it actually maps the relationships between all those distinct entities.
Yes. And the fact that Google is aggressively pulling all this profile and local data into central hubs proves they are actively reinforcing that web of relationships right now.
Wow. So for years, search strategy for agencies was essentially about URLs, keywords, and backlinks. We're not saying throw away your keyword research entirely, but...
But that old playbook clearly doesn't tell the whole story anymore. Not even close.
No.
Because AI-driven search asks a much harder question than just, which page mentions this topic the most. It asks which source is credible enough to represent this topic at all.
Right. Search is now rewarding entities, not just individual pages.
Exactly. And these new search profiles create a validation loop. They tie together a brand's name, their published content, their social presence, follower signals, and their freshness patterns into one neat package.
Which means if a company has a fragmented brand architecture, say they have a really weak author presence on their blog, or their social handles don't match across platforms.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, or like their physical address is listed differently on 3 different directories. That makes the company significantly harder to trust.
It completely breaks the machine's confidence. If the algorithm detects conflicting information, it doesn't try to guess which one is right. It just lowers your trust score.
Wow. And in an AI search, harder to trust simply means harder to surface.
Absolutely.
It's like a job applicant walking into your office for an interview. If their resume dates say one thing, their LinkedIn profile says another, and their list of references doesn't match either of them.
You're not going to hire them.
Exactly. You aren't going to sit there and play detective to solve the mystery of who this person actually is. You're just going to move on to the next applicant.
Yeah, you just toss the application.
So what does this all mean for the traditional agency model? The old routine of pumping out 4 SEO blog posts a month to hit keyword quotas seems totally obsolete here.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it means that brand architecture is now an operational function. It is no longer just a messaging exercise.
Okay, unpack that a bit.
So in the past, leadership teams treated brand architecture as something strictly for the creative department. It was naming systems, tone of voice guidelines, visual consistency, a beautiful 100-page brand deck.
Right, the window display from our analogy earlier.
Precisely. But in the AI search era, your brand architecture literally shapes how machines interpret your business across the entire web. It dictates whether your content can even be mathematically connected back to your entity.
That is wild.
Yeah, one of our sources, strategist Miriam Jess here, points out that branding now has to work for both people and machines.
Right. AI systems are actively extracting and interpreting brand information from structured data, like your site's code, and unstructured signals, like mentions of your brand, on a random deep dive online.
Because machines are now the primary ones interpreting the brand, the very nature of how users discover companies has fundamentally changed. We have moved from a linear web to an extractive one.
Yes, the extractive web.
Jessier introduces this concept called the utility gap test, and I think every decision maker listening should try this with their team.
Oh, I love this test. It's so revealing.
It really is. You take a high-value page on your website right now, scroll to the middle of the page, pull out a random sentence, and paste it into a blank document.
Okay.
If a machine reads that single sentence in total isolation, can it deduce what the page is about, who wrote it, and what the intent was?
Right. And usually the answer is no.
Yeah, like let's say a B2B SaaS company has a sentence that says, "We empower teams to unlock their full potential with seamless synergies." Right. An AI parser has absolutely no idea if that sentence belongs to a software company, a management consultancy, or a brand selling energy drinks.
Oh, man. That's so true.
That is the utility gap.
Yeah.
If your copy relies on the surrounding context or visual design to make sense, your brand effectively vanishes in AI search.
That makes perfect sense. We really have to contrast the old way of the web with the new way. We've moved from the mall model to the concierge model.
That's a great framework. Let's really map out how different these two experiences are for the end user.
Definitely. So in the mall era, which represents traditional search, the search engine was essentially a giant directory pointing you toward a specific door in the mall.
Right. Brands fought tooth and nail for visual space in that directory. They wanted the biggest neon sign, which meant optimizing title tags and meta descriptions.
Yeah, and sometimes they use cheap tricks like keyword stuffing just to get you to look at their store.
Exactly. But ultimately, you, the user, still had to walk through their digital front door. You had to actually visit their website to get the answer.
Right, you experience their navigation, their pop-ups, their branding. But in the concierge era, which is what we have now with generative engines like Gemini or Perplexity, the user never goes to the mall at all.
No, they don't have to.
The AI agent, the concierge, enters the store on behalf of the user. It speed reads the aisles, extracts the raw facts, and brings the synthesized answer back to the user who is sitting comfortably on the search engine's interface.
The AI effectively disintermediates the brand.
Wow.
And this leads to a phenomenon Jessier calls dereferencing. If an agency relies purely on a brand's emotional aesthetic, the AI just bypasses it.
Why is that?
Because vibes lack what developers call semantic density. They lack dense, machine-readable facts. So the website is no longer a destination where a customer goes to be persuaded. It is relegated to mere training data for the model.
Okay, wait. I can already hear the objections from creative directors everywhere.
Oh, I'm sure.
If a business decision maker spends a massive six-figure budget on a gorgeous, emotional, award-winning website with cinematic video backgrounds and intricate scrolling animations,
Yeah.
are you saying the AI concierge really just walks right in, ignores all the expensive decor, and demands to see the raw data spreadsheet? I mean, surely the engagement metrics from a beautiful site count for something.
Well, this raises an important question. While user engagement matters for human conversion, for discovery, the answer is yes. The AI wants the spreadsheet. Wow. This is the birth of technical branding. The infrastructure itself is the brand now. Think about it. 30 years ago, products became highly commoditized, so companies survived by selling a vibe.
Right?
Today, vibes are fundamentally invisible to machines, so brands survive by becoming calculable.
Okay, so if the infrastructure is the brand, what happens when that infrastructure is flawed?
It's a disaster. If large language models, the concierges, encounter technical hurdles on your site, they just can't extract the truth.
Like what kind of hurdles?
Let's say your site uses what developers call div soup.
Div soup. What is that?
It's a slang term for incredibly messy, poorly structured HTML code. It's where everything is nested in meaningless container tags instead of semantic tags that explicitly tell a machine, hey, this is a headline or this is a product description.
Ah, okay.
So when an AI hits div soup or incredibly slow loading scripts, it gets confused. So it fills in the gaps with probabilistic guesses.
Wait, meaning it literally just guesses what your company does based on statistical likelihoods?
Exactly. And that leads to brand distortion or straight-up hallucinations. An AI might parse a messy site and confidently tell a user that your agency offers public relations services simply because you use the word relations near a broken code block, even though you only do SEO.
Oh, that is terrifying for an agency owner.
Truly, high-integrity infrastructure ensures that when the AI extracts your data, it does so with absolute high fidelity.
Okay, so if technical branding and becoming mathematically calculable are the new reality, how do agency owners and marketing leaders actually operationalize this right now?
Right, that's the million-dollar question.
It's one thing to say have clean code, but how do you prove to a constantly crawling algorithm that you are an active, trusted entity?
Well, this brings us back to the hidden power of those new Google search profiles we discussed at the beginning. Freshness signals.
Ah, right.
Modern search heavily prioritizes content recency, especially in fast-moving industries like technology or finance.
It's the pulse we were talking about earlier. It's not just about what authoritative white paper you published 3 years ago. It's about what you are actively publishing and doing today.
Exactly. A publishing cadence is no longer just a content marketing KPI to see how many leads you can capture. It actually functions as an entity maintenance layer.
Entity maintenance layer. I like that.
Yeah, every time you publish a well-structured, authoritative piece of content, it sends a ping to the algorithm. It proves that the brand entity is alive, active, and relevant to the current conversation.
Let's give the listeners some highly actionable steps here. If I'm an agency owner or an in-house marketing leader, what is the game plan for tomorrow morning?
Based on our sources, it comes down to 3 operational shifts.
Okay.
First, assess your eligibility for these new search profiles. If you or your clients can claim a Google search profile, do it immediately and populate it.
Get on that real estate. What's step 2?
Second, unify your entity signals. We mentioned this earlier, but practically, this means auditing everything. Does your company name read exactly the same on your LinkedIn company page, your Crunchbase profile, your website footer, and your Google business profile?
Right. Are your executive team's author bios identical across external guest posts and your own blog? Basically, stop contradicting yourself online.
Exactly. And third, build a repeatable freshness system. Your editorial calendar should be designed to reinforce your entity's core expertise, not just chase whatever the trending high-volume keyword of the day is.
That makes a lot of sense. So agencies that are still pitching clients on a service model of, we get you to rank on page 1 by producing X amount of content are drastically underscoping the problem.
Drastically. The new service model has to be strategic search operations. It's about maintaining the health and clarity of the entity across the entire web.
I have to play devil's advocate on this content strategy, though. It sounds like we need to pitch search readiness for the AI era, but how do we actually feed this machine without just churning out generic robotic spam?
Yeah, that's a really common fear.
Right. Like, if we are writing for an AI concierge that just wants dense facts, aren't we going to alienate the human readers who eventually do make it to our site?
It's a totally valid concern, but it's actually a misunderstanding of what the machine wants. It's not about writing like a robot. It's about providing the machine with mathematical certainty within your human writing.
Okay, how does that work?
The AI concierge is looking for what experts call anchorable statements.
Well, let's give a concrete example of an anchorable statement versus, say, a vibe statement.
Yeah, a vibe statement is, we craft bespoke digital journeys that empower holistic growth.
Which means nothing.
Right. A human might feel inspired by that, maybe, but a machine extracts 0 data. An anchorable statement is, we are a digital marketing agency based in Chicago that provides SEO and technical branding services for B2B software companies.
Ah, okay. You are providing clear definitions, explicit constraints, direct cause and effect phrasing.
Exactly. It's about high-fidelity data extraction. You can still tell a beautiful emotional story in your copy, but the core facts within that story, who you are, what you do, who you serve, need to be structured so cleanly.
Maybe in an introductory paragraph or a structured data schema.
Yes, so cleanly that a machine can pull them out without getting confused.
You are giving the AI the exact coordinates of your expertise.
Precisely.
Well, as we look back at the journey we've taken today, the through line is just undeniable. We started by looking at Google's new search profiles and the integration of local data into GA4.
Right.
But we quickly uncovered that these aren't just minor software updates. They are the architectural scaffolding for a massive shift from traditional page authority to entity trust.
A total paradigm shift.
Yeah. We mapped out the transition from the old mall model, where brands just tried to yell the loudest to get people in the door, to the new AI concierge model, where the technical infrastructure of your site actually is your brand.
And the ultimate takeaway for the digital marketing agency owners and the business decision maker listening right now is a simple question. Are you still spending your budget optimizing individual pages when you really need to be engineering authority for your entire entity?
That is the line in the sand for the next era of search. And I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to mull over or explore with your teams this week.
Let's hear it.
If you're a leader in this space, you have likely spent your entire career and a lot of money making sure your human customers feel your brand's story. You've agonized over the color palettes, the messaging tone, the emotional resonance of your campaigns.
Oh, we all have.
But as AI concierges increasingly become the primary, or perhaps even the only, visitors actually navigating your site's architecture, what happens when your brand's most valuable demographic doesn't have a pulse, but a parser?
Wow. It forces a total reevaluation of what a website is actually for.
Exactly. How do you make an algorithm feel your brand? You don't. You can't. You have to prove your value mathematically, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how beautiful your window display is. If the blueprints are messy, the building inspector is going to walk right past you.
Spot on.
Thanks for taking the plunge with us. We'll see you on the next deep dive.
Thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe.